Okay, so teams that could have five straight happen to them tonight. The Celtics could win their fifth straight. The Blazers could lose their fifth straight on this five-date numerology. Again, the date numerology today, 14, 23, 59. All numbers breaking down to five. The lesser date numerology is 39. I did write down the Gematria Tuesday and Mars, but usually it's not very helpful. To me, the Nets look like a dollar parlay team today. They got big value in a dollar parlay. They could get their 41st home win in the series on the 13th. They could get their 22nd win of the year. Boston and 22 has always been a good pattern. You got the 14 date numerology. They could also get the 14th home win. But again, don't go crazy. They are the Nets. They've been blowing a lot of good narratives. Nets and 13 used to be a lights out pairing no matter how bad their season was. We're on I haven't kept exactly track, but I'd say the last five times 13's been on the board in a Nets game, it's missed. It might be more than that now. It's a crazy streak. So it's like, what is going on? Since when doesn't Nets and 13 hit? These teams do play back to back. The next game's in Boston. If the Celtics were to win both, they'd stay on 12 losses before facing the Bulls. You know, the Bulls do like that 12 number. Okay, Thunder at Magic, games on TNT. We know TNT, the network, does have the 18 connection. It's not in the most pure, and it has not really been hitting, so you can't put too much weight on it, but there is a chance it could play against the Thunder and play in favor of the Magic. And Magic could get their 30th win if they upset. They'd stay on 24 losses. Magic does equal 30 and 24. Doesn't have to go that way. My big concern for the Magic is their coach can get his 133rd loss. Oklahoma City is 133 in the most simple. Magic can also get the 44th loss in the series here on the 44th day of the year. So, probably not the game of the day. Heat and Bucks. Milwaukee, big favorite here. Heat would have big value with an upset. So Jimmy's not playing, but that doesn't mean anything. That could be the bait. The date numerology, surface level stuff. There's some stuff here that suggests the Heat could get an upset. So I think the Heat are probably worth a dollar parlay tonight as well. Again, they get the 14th road win on the 14 date numerology. Bucks can get the 20th loss. Heat does have the 20 connection. Bucks can stay on 23 home wins on the 23 date. Bucks can stay on 59 wins in the series on the 59 date. The Kings and the Suns, also a little bit tight here. The 113, the 30th prime could play in favor of the Suns tonight. There is a lot of bold, though, on the Kings side of the narrative, including the coach potentially staying on 56 losses. Kings can be, I should have wrote this word, Kings can be taken with points, 5.5 dog on 5-date numerology. So I think that's probably the right way to play this game. I'm going to switch the scales around here because I see more bold, and I think Kings with the points is the smarter idea in this one. The Timberwolves and the Blazers. These teams play back-to-back in Portland. So if the Blazers were able to sneak one out, it's amazing how many 8.5-point spreads there are today. It's like the NBA went overboard with that. Basketball, 85. They got it in the Boston game. Boston, 85. If the Blazers could sneak one of these games out, they'd stay on 38 losses, and the Timberwolves would leave with 38 wins. Both Minnesota and Oregon equal 38 in the most pure. If the Blazers did go down today, they would get their 44th loss versus the T-Wolves on the 44th day of the year. The argument is for them to stay on 14 home losses on the 14-date numerology. There is a narrative for the Timberwolves to win both. They'd get to 8-2 in the division. Trailblazers does have the 82. But, yeah, I just wonder if they could have 38s on both sides if Blazers can sneak one out. Lakers and Pistons. Lakers and Pistons. Again, when I saw this game, I thought, how interesting. Detroit versus LA on the anniversary of the Lakers winning, or not the Lakers, but the Rams winning the Super Bowl with the Detroit quarterback Stafford. But yeah, the Lakers are on 213 regular season wins versus the Pistons on 213. That's the potential upset narrative for them to stay there and get the 41st home loss on the 13th. If LA were to win this game, and they're favored by a lot to do it, they'd stay on 9 home losses like Stafford wore 9. They'd get their 29th win like football's 29. They'd improve to 4-1 versus the Central Division like Super Bowl LA and Pistons is 41. Looking ahead, if the Pistons lose this game, it's going to set them up to get their 46th loss in Phoenix. Phoenix does like 46. There's several dollar parlay narratives to think about, and the thing that's annoying about today is, again, you just have like a bunch of big spreads. And those only have any value for the favorites if they're covers. Might be a day to look at the dogs with the best narratives and take them with the points, and maybe mix in a few dollar parlays for where the potential upsets are. There's going to be at least one big upset today. The only game that's really got a close spread is Thunder and Magic. And again, you do have decent things on both sides, but if I had to strip away everything and say, what do I think is the most meaningful stat here? I think it's that the Magic coach can get his 133rd loss, because there's not a whole lot of 133 in the NBA. Minnesota's one, but it's in the weaker cipher. Oklahoma City's like the strongest 133 in the whole league. So the fact that he can get his 133rd loss versus the right team is probably the most standout thing. And the fact that the Magic can get the 44th loss on the 44th day of the year. And I guess we can take a real quick peek at college basketball too, see what's going on today. If Marquette were to win, they'd be 10-3 in the Big East, which is a Jesuits number. They'd stay on 5 losses on the 5-date numerology. There could be more to a 16. Well, I suppose falling to 16-9 on the 13th is a bit like 169, which has a square root of 13. They're playing a M school. Syracuse comes in 6-7 versus North Carolina. North Carolina does have a 67 connection and a 77 connection. Another 8.5-point game. Let's think. Oh, damn. What if UNC lost and fell to 11-3 right before Jordan's birthday? Michael Jordan 113. North Carolina 77. UNC basketball schedule. When's their next game after this? Their next game's on Jordan's birthday. So if they did lose, they'd be 11-3 in the conference with the next game on Jordan's birthday. But yeah, I guess we do have 59 date numerology. 59 date numerology. Michael Jordan 113-59. I think Syracuse is definitely worth a dollar parlay. And again, another team you could take with the points. So we have the battle of the Jesuit schools here. And notice if Georgetown loses, well, Creighton's a huge favorite, but they should lose because the Jesuits operate in 112 countries. They'd be 1-12. Creighton would get to 9-5 in the Big East. Jesuits created to counter the 95 Theses. They'd become 18-7. Society of Jesus 187. By the way, I forgot to look what happened yesterday with the Kansas game. Texas Tech got them 7-4. And didn't they become isn't that what we saw, that they could become 13-1 at home? I was saying the 13-1 for the Super Bowl on the 58 date numerology made the most sense. Hold on. Yeah, Texas Tech became 13-1 at home, the Super Bowl number. How about it? Mahomes 74, 7-4 in the conference. Just another clear example of how it's all scripted, college and pro. Which, again, with regards to today, does UNC fall to 11-3 on the 113th day of the NBA season? And then they play next on Jordan's birthday? It doesn't sound too bad. So, great dollar parlay narrative. Syracuse with the points, even safer, just in case North Carolina did stay on 5 losses on the 5-day. Yeah, UNC is 16. I had to check. I couldn't remember if it was. So Syracuse can get their 16th win over UNC as well.